Itagaki at one point was considered one of the most OP characters in the entire series. He is confirmed to be the fastest boxer in the featherweight division and perceives his opponent's incoming punches in slow motion, enabling him to counter them easily. Even if his opponents are not attacking, he can still anticipate their next moves and counter them without remorse or hesitation. Additionally, his incredible speed allows him to evade punches effortlessly, and he often overwhelms his opponents with rapid left jabs to pile up damage. At one point, I truly believed that Itagaki had become the second main character of the manga due to the amount of attention and development he received. I was certain that Morikawa was building up to a significant upcoming fight between Ippo and Itagaki in the near future, which would have been a major climax in the story. However, Itagaki lost all his credibility and importance in the story after a certain fight. Previously, he had won almost all of his fights by KO and with minimal effort. Now he barely manages to secure wins by decision and is getting bodied in almost every fight. All of the promised potential we saw in him has seemingly disappeared, and he has been demoted from a main character to being part of Aokimura, essentially becoming a laughingstock. This has led to the question among the Hajime no Ippo community about what happened to Itagaki with his overpowered abilities we witnessed throughout the manga and why he has become a shadow of his former self. His overconfidence first emerged after his fight with Imai at the Rookie Kings tournament final. Prior to this bout, Itagaki had suffered 3 losses to Imai in amateur boxing matches, leaving him extremely nervous, lacking confidence and filled with doubt regarding his abilities to defeat his opponent. His sole strategy for this fight was to secure a victory via decision. Thus, he focused on countering and utilized his speed and jab to evade Imai's powerful punches. Despite the fight being intensely close, Itagaki, with the encouragement of Ippo, managed to defeat his rival for the first time, thereby overcoming the mental blockage that had plagued him in his previous bouts. In a subsequent fight against Hoshi, Itagaki awakened the ability to seemingly enter the Matrix during his matches, where boxing became effortless for him. One might even argue that he became somewhat cocky at this point. He won his fights with minimal effort, making them appear almost too easy. During this period, he received the most attention and development alongside characters like Ippo and Takamura that led me to believe that he had become a second main character in the series. He was frequently seen alongside Ippo, with their interactions and mutual encouragement reflecting a deep bond. Since his introduction, Itagaki held a profound respect for Ippo's dedication to boxing and aspired to achieve his own greatness. He became so connected to Ippo that they somewhat became like best friends over time. The time they spent working in Ippo's fishing boat business and the time they hang out together. However, there are times when there is something odd about Itagaki's behavior when it comes to Ippo and how he views him. The boxing reporter Mari noticed that Itagaki has a strange obsession with Ippo, since Ippo possesses things that Itagaki does not have: powerful punches, famous of Japanese champion, and a cute girlfriend. If we analyze Itagaki, we indeed see that he is insecure about his own strength and the punching power that he lacks. That's why he tries to make up for it by intensely training his stamina. He also cares about what others perceive of him and enjoys entertaining the crowd whenever he gets the opportunity to do so. Additionally, even though it's never been outright stated, Itagaki does have a crush on Kumi, which makes it really awkward since Itagaki always hangs out with Ippo, and both Ippo and Kumi have feelings for each other, creating an uncomfortable situation for Itagaki to witness. This then raises the question for all readers: does Itagaki actually respect Ippo, or is he just envious of him? Itagaki's goal is to reach the same level as Ippo one day, but in his current state he admits he has no chance of defeating Ippo. However, in his mind he challenges Ippo indirectly by facing off against Ippo's previous opponents in the Class A tournament, Saiki and Karasawa. His aim is not only to prevent them from facing Ippo for the Japanese title, but also to defeat them in a shorter time than it took Ippo to defeat them. Itagaki showcased his genius side during his fight against Karasawa, where he injured his hand and relied purely on instincts and his left jab, ultimately defeating Karasawa before the time it took Ippo and retiring him from the sport. He then pushed his limits in his fight against Saiki, who was ranked in the OPBF and considered the fastest featherweight at the time. Itagaki once again demonstrated his potential in the ring and won the fight in the closing seconds, retiring Saiki as well. This fight piqued the attention of Miyata, who also considered fighting Itagaki in the ring one day. In a sense, Itagaki viewed Ippo the same way like how Ippo used to view Miyata. Ippo has become Itagaki's goal, where they both strive for their own greatness. This was also the time when I was certain that Itagaki would eventually face off against Ippo. He hides his true thoughts and feelings behind the persona he created, evident after his fight with Karasawa, where he approached Ippo with a scary looking face, signalizing that he aims to reach him, but came to his senses at the last second before doing something to him. I believe that the match would come soon, as Itagaki could realistically change gyms and request a match since he has won the A-Class tournament. However, However, Ippo forfeited the Japanese title to face off against the second-ranked world boxer Alfredo Gonzalez, so it became Itadaki's responsibility to reclaim the Japanese featherweight title for the Kamogawaja. Coincidentally, his opponent was Imai once again, and in Itadaki's mind he already envisioned himself winning the match since he had previously defeated Imai. On the day of the fight, Itadaki entered the ring with the mindset of already being champion, ready to defeat Imai in a fast-paced match. However, what he didn't anticipate was that as soon as the match began, Imai charged right at him and accurately predicted Itadaki's moves. Itadaki ultimately found himself knocked down by Imai within the first 10 seconds of the match. This caught Itadaki off guard. Imai had trained relentlessly and extensively studied Itadaki since their last encounter. He was well aware of Itadaki's abilities and speed, preparing himself with the intention of neutralizing these skills and disabling Itadaki's potential, as he was the one who had originally enabled Itadaki to awaken his potential after their first fight. Imai had fought Itadaki 1,000 times in his mind in preparation for this bout, allowing him to anticipate Itadaki's next moves and execute his plans effectively. In the end, Imai was able to completely neutralize all of Itadaki's skills and ultimately defeat him in the first round. This defeat was particularly shocking for Itadaki, especially on the same night when Ippo lost to Alfredo Gonzalez. Itadaki had placed a great deal of faith in Ippo's ability to reach the world stage. However, after this pivotal fight, Itadaki's subsequent matches were all won via decision, a stark contrast to his previous streak of knockout victories. He also never received any major fights of significant importance in the story anymore. What really happened is that after his bout with Imai, Itadaki once again developed self-confidence issues in the ring, viewing himself as not good enough to compete. Additionally, with Ippo's retirement, Itadaki lacked a clear goal, as his mentor wasn't the dominant figure he once was. This lack of direction was evident in his subsequent performances, where he only got wins via decision, and the only other time he was given attention again was in a short arc where he was bullied on Twitter and trolled by Kimura to get a rub on his career. What Itadaki really needs is someone he can truly open up to about his true intentions and feelings, someone who can help him overcome his mental barriers. Many have theorized that Itadaki should be coached by someone else, perhaps by Nekoto or Sawamura, and then challenge Ippo for a satisfying conclusion to his arc. Itadaki's story arc is marked by a series of setbacks and struggles with confidence and direction. Only time will tell if he can find the support and guidance he needs to rediscover his passion for boxing and reach his full potential. But what do you think about what happened to Itadaki in the story? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you've enjoyed this video, then please leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more Hajime no Ippo content. I'm the Reading Crow, and thanks for watching.